Hello, everybody. Welcome yet again. Welcome to our LinkedIn Live. I think this is my fifth LinkedIn Live session since last November. And I remember, Stefan, you and I had tried out the LinkedIn Live the first time, and it didn't work for us. We were both like experimenting. And then we
Yeah,
did.
we had our audio session, so that
Yes,
counts. Yeah.
that definitely counts. But this is our actual first LinkedIn Live, so to say, since last November. Yeah, this is the first one.
Yeah.
And welcome, everybody. Welcome to our session. What are we calling it? We are calling it the Introduction to Management 3.0. And I'm going to do a really quick introduction because we want to get as much time in Q&A. If there are a lot of people joining, we'd love to have the Q&A too. So yeah, quick introduction. We're doing this session on Introduction to Management 3.0 as a context. That's primarily because we've been getting a lot of questions from people, and we thought, let's just go live, let's have a chat. And literally, we decided this day before yesterday, I think, when we pinged each other, and was pretty impromptu. So here we are. I'm Sarika Kharbanda. How do I introduce myself? I'm a change agent and change hacker. My mantra is disrupt, unleash, co-create. I prefer to get disrupted myself rather than external forces disrupting me, unleash my own potential, and help others unleash theirs. And lastly, co-create the future together with everybody. That's me.
Sure. Great, and that's really good introduction also for me because I'm like all about future, and that's actually my web page is Future is Coach. That means that we're trying to modernize approaches of the leadership and the management, and I'm all about continuous improvement, continuous experimentation, continuous learning. I worked 10 plus years in different industries from automotive, software development. Now I'm in the gaming. So we now try to show how we use some practices from Management 3.0 in our real life experiments. And we would like to share with you what are the good things we are getting from it, and to do quite an intro of what is it's Management 3.0 all about. Yeah. So that's the main idea behind this.
Perfect. Do you want to start by sharing your screen then? Should we just dive in?
Yeah, we can share screen. Just let me know now. Now it should be on. We see it.
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, you already did this part, this introduction part, so that's great. We can move on to the why part. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So here we want just to, let's say, give a brief about why actually Management 3.0 is there. Yeah. And we already kind of announced that it's all about modernizing the management practices. And here in this, so let's say pictures, we are showing some actually photos of some outdated management practices. Like on the first slide, it's actually connected with the management 1.0, which is all about hierarchies and how we control the organization and try to use approach organization is like a machine. Yeah. So that's definitely outdated. I think we all agree about that. Yeah. The second one, it's all about, okay, we agree it's not a machine. We agree that people have some influence in it. Yeah. But still, management likes to stay on the top level of hierarchies and give their orders to people, what they need to do, and so on. And they do not want to delegate responsibilities to others. So it's kind of not that good as well. And now the third part, and where we are actually today, this is Management 3.0, where we all agree that it's all about complexity. Yeah. And that one organization is actually a network of people who are working in different scenarios, different situations, and they need to communicate and they need to coordinate stuff by themselves because they're closest to the clients, they're closest to the customers. And yeah, Management 3.0 is actually all about that, about this part, how we actually want to give some authority to the people as well, but also to manage the system instead managing the people. So yeah, Sarika, you can continue a bit about your view.
Yeah, I think you gave a good transition, right, of from 1.0 to 2.0 and then to 3.0. And yeah, I think it'll be worth mentioning just why 3.0, because I think a typical question people ask us also in the workshops is, so is there a 4.0 next? But I don't want to answer that. But why is it 3.0? And what we are trying to say is perhaps, and that's what Jürgen Appel, really the creator or inventor of Management 3.0, shared with us, that, it took us so many, releases to get to a good version of management, which is applicable in today's VUCA context. We're not saying really that what was then was wrong. I think what was then probably worked for then, but that was the Frederick Taylor and the, Henry Ford times. But today where we are, we're talking of self-organization, autonomy, and we need a different approach to management today. An approach that helps boost productivity, nurture innovation, happier people, happier co-workers, happier leaders. I think there's a lot of benefits that we want from today's new approach to management.
Yeah, and actually Stephen Hawking said that and called 21st century a century of complexity. So some outdated model where everything was streamlined, linear, it's not applicable today. So and we also mentioned this a lot, and I also use this in my post about management 3.0, that there are a lot of management models out there, yeah, and theories and everything, yeah, they all really sound great. The problem is that there is a lot of theory which don't always we know how to implement in the practice, and management 3.0 is all about the practice. So whatever we learn, we have immediately opportunity to practice, because it's all about the practices and how we use them to get a good behavior. So it's kind of twisted in the way, and that change, that changed my view as well, because I was always thinking like, we need to set a mindset first, then to discuss how we will do some things, and then agree what we need to do. Here is other way around. You try something, and that triggers some mindset shift in your head. I mean, as example, if you use delegation poker and say, let's just try it, yeah? And then once you use it, and after several rounds of playing with delegation poker, management starting to thinking about, okay, it's actually all about giving authority to the people closest to the customer, so they can do and they can get good decisions, because they're actually the experts in their field, not we. Yeah. So it's all about that, and that's why I really like the management 3.0, because it's also shift my perception of, should we start with mindset, should we start with practice? It's actually depends on the context at the end. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, people need actionable advices, things they can start doing really next week, and that's where management 3.0 comes in. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, and this is a good one, right? I mean, we're talking about the principles and the organizational views in Management 3.0. And what do we call this? It's our friendly management monster, right? Called Martie, who brings us the 6 organizational views. We're not going to dive totally into each of them, because yeah, that's like a whole session in itself. But just to quickly introduce everybody to the 6 views, and this is also what we talk about as deep dives in our workshops also, right? The 6 views essentially entail energizing people, empowering teams, aligning constraints, whether that's with a purpose or values and culture, developing competence, not just of individuals, but of the whole teams, growing structure, which is not just hierarchically. There are so many different ways in which you can grow your structure, and we introduce you all to those aspects of the organizational view. And in the center, improving everything, which focuses really on the change management aspect, right? And the foundational aspects there, if you see the 2 legs of our friendly monster, Martie, you see management and leadership and complexity thinking, because yes, we live in the VUCA world today. Everything is going to be built around that. So we bring, in fact, Jürgen actually outlined 8 guiding principles for us to help guide complexity. And that's also what we cover, just to give a whole wrapper to all of this. But before I move on to the principles, Stefan, do you want to add more to Martie's views?
So I really like this improve everything part, because also in Management 3.0 book from Jürgen Appel, he's saying that people, teams, and organizations need to improve continuously to defer failure for as long as possible.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, that's a really good sentence, because we all talk about continuous improvement, but why we are doing, yeah? Why we are doing continuous improvement? Because we need to be competitive on the market, yeah? And that's where Management 3.0 stands. And what is really important, that all the practices currently, not all of them was available at the beginning. That means that practices evolve over the time, and we are adding more and more practices to the time. That means that also Management 3.0 as a community and as a set of tools is also evolving according to the situation on the market and where we are actually standing today. Yeah. So that's really, really important part.
Yeah,
And
that's
about
brilliant
yeah
one. Sorry,
about
go on.
about principles, I know, Sarika, they are here. People can read them. So what is your favorite principle from this part? I
Yes.
mean, mine is obvious, yeah. So
I was going to say that yours is so super obvious. And before I answer mine, right? Maybe we have what, 24 people in the audience right now. How about, we just have in the chat which of these principles aligns most with you, right? While we still continue the conversation, it will be great to hear from people in the audience what's resonating most with you. So,
yeah.
I know my mantra says disrupt, unleash, co-create. So one could always say that, co-create is my favorite, but interestingly, it's not my most resonating principle, because for me, it all comes down to engaging people and interactions. If that's not there, nothing else is going to matter, right? So for me, that's like the core of it. If I have the people, if they can interact with each other, it's like individuals and interactions, right? The first value in the Agile manifesto. So individuals and interactions over processes and tools. So exactly that way. For me, engaging people, super key. If I can do that, then of course I can co-create. Of course I can help manage the system or enable the system for all the people in that context. Of course, we can all together delight clients and then improve the whole system. So yeah, engage people and interactions for me, Stefan.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. So all principles are actually connected. So in most cases, if you do not have all principles, and that's why they are there, if you do not have all principles, then probably you will not be so successful as if you have all of them. So
Yeah, and I see Jovan. Jovan has actually written. So thank you so much, Jovan, for highlighting. It's helping to improve the client. That that was really nice.
Instead of delight, he just changed
Yeah,
the word.
improve. I like it.
That's a good one, Johan. Okay, nice. So yeah, that's about the principles and organizational views. I think that's really, really important and core part. So yeah, Sarika, I think you can continue with this part. I think this is really, really important to let's say.
Sure. Yeah, I think at this point, I also want to bring out the point you shared earlier, because it's all about the community, right? And Management 3.0 you can look at that from different perspectives. You can look at Management 3.0 as a community, which is really co-creating this ever-changing collection of games, tools, and practices. But it's definitely not a framework. It's not something that you can go drag and drop as a framework and try and use. It's always going to be innovative, right? So for me, if you take a simple practice, and I think we can talk about a couple of practices in the next slides. If you take a simple practice like happiness door, which is like a mix of two practices, I have actually used the happiness door even in a meeting where I was doing a RFP. To my benefit, I've actually, tweaked that whole happiness door practice just to suit the context, because I got value out of it. But the point is, we are equipping everybody, including ourselves, with these tools, techniques, games, and practices. But it's really on us, and the ownership is back on us. When do we use it and how do we use it, right? Because I can't ask Stefan, hey, Stefan, now can I pull out the team competency matrix? Or is it a good idea to pull out, I don't know, a team agreement or whatever? Because only Sarika would know her context and Stefan would know his, right? But these are good things to have in the toolkit. And that's how I would look at it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you need to be aware of the palette you have in your head. So, like, what is the tool set? Yeah, so you need to bring your let's say, case with the tools, and to be aware what you have. And once you recognize, or team recognize, the opportunity to use something, because we really need to decide how we will do decision making in the future. So let's do decision making metrics. It's definitely worth it. Yeah. So it's something that I think it's important to underline. You will not enter the team and take all the practices and say, we start with this, continue with this, then go to the next one, and so on and so on. No. Just check the context, see what makes sense to be applied, when it makes sense, find the proper, let's say, established way to do it, and so on and so on. And of course, teams also need to agree that we will try it. Yeah, because
Indeed.
there is no, if you do not have this part, I think it's you're immediately doomed. Even practice is really great, and you're a great facilitator.
Yeah,
doesn't make sense.
Very true.
Okay. Yeah, and we mentioned this, Sarika. So we at Management 3.0, we all talk about the action, and best way to learn, but not only to learn, maybe even to absorb information, is to adopt new practices by having fun experimenting. That doesn't necessarily means that fun is the reason we are doing it. But why not to have it while we are doing it? Yeah. So that's important part. And our practical hands-on tools are actually games that foster transformational change in teams, because they're engaged in games. And I can speak about this a lot, because I'm working now in the gaming industry, and I'm all about gamification of experiences. And these serious games are really something good, and that even can, let's say, improve really traditional organizations. Yeah. And if I said to you that even CEOs from the bank, once they experience the transformational impact of those exercises, agrees that this is good, that's great. But they first need to feel it, because you can imagine it's not easy. Some person from traditional environment to say, let's play games to make a decision. No way. So.
But just to add to that, right, we might just be so pleasantly surprised, because when I work with CXOs, they love to play Lego too. So we just underestimate the power of gamification, and you're in it day in, day out, so you can tell.
Yeah, we sometimes assume that people do not like games, but at the end, we all have some kind of games on our mobiles, and we're playing all the time. So why not introduce that with the teams, with the idea to have really valuable outcome out of it? Yeah. So this is the part, and those are all the practices here. Yeah. So we'll not talk about each one currently. I know how many of them we have in
more than 30. I think more than 30.
Yeah, it's more than 30. Yeah, and as you see, it's all about it's about empowerment. It's about management in general, leadership, employee engagement, feedback techniques and method, company culture, how to manage stress as well, job interviews, exercise, and so on and so on. Yeah. So this is this modern leadership toolbox we are talking about. And I think it's really important, because building resilience is also important for the companies. And all these things I mentioned here is part of how to be resilient and to have engaged employees.
Yeah. I think maybe just one point to mention for everybody's benefit, because we are not obviously going to dive into each and every practice, given the context and time. Worth mentioning that the practice could be as simple as, just checking in to know the health check of your own teams, no matter whether that's a leadership team. You could use a practice like, for example, Nico or a happiness store, or some other practice that we have. Or it could be as difficult. And I purposely say difficult because a lot of people come to us saying it's tough to give negative feedback, right? We end up giving a compliment sandwich, which is, give the negative feedback between two compliments. That's not what we share here. We talk about the feedback wrap. So I think these are the kind of practices you might want to start thinking with, because they will really help your context and allow you to at least think differently in your context and see how you could solve a problem that you've been previously struggling with. So just get a different perspective. Just wanted to add that piece to the number of practices, because we have like an ever-growing list of practices. Every few months we have something new come up. So that's nice. Stefan, can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's really important. I think these alignment practices are really important. Yeah, you mentioned some of them. So yeah, like also moving motivators can be part of them if we are using in the way to assess at beginning, not connected with the change, but in general, why and how people are motivated. But also what is important that we have some ideas how these practices should be used, yeah. But that also change. Some people are using some practices in different way. They're adding, they're mixing, they're combining, they're using with some other toolbox, yeah. As example, I'm using management 3.0 practices together with liberating structures. So I'm combining all the ways together, this is really important that you need to adapt practice on the context of your team, as we said. And these alignment practices, I think they're really, really good because it gives you a good starting point, at least. Yeah.
Yep. Sure.
Okay, I put one question. Have you tried some management 3.0 practices before, and which one? You can reply in chat. Yeah. So I haven't, honestly, I haven't tried all of them. Yeah. I know about all of them, but I haven't tried all of them.
Yeah, same here.
But Sarika, do you have some practices that are your top three, maybe?
Sorry, say that again.
Do you have practices that are, let's say, part of your top three? So let's say you're really
that is so tough.
using them a lot and all the time, and without them, you were, let's say, not able to do your job properly.
That's a good one. So I will actually put two practices, just thought harder. So I would put two practices there, the team agreement and the happiness door. I think for me, they are a no-go can't go without them.
Yeah,
how about you? Same question to you.
Yeah, I was thinking about top three, and when I was thinking about that, I was understanding that I cannot decide, but I think one of them is definitely delegation poker and delegation metrics. I think this is really important. I would agree that work agreements is also really, really important for me. I tried, let's say, in all my teams, I tried some version of it, yeah, depending on how I do it. And what I realized that it's really powerful and maybe really simple exercise, this happiness door. And I haven't used it for, let's say, from the beginning of my journey, but recently I started using it and I realized that this is giving really good results if you want to have quick feedback. Yeah. So if you're like want to gather quick feedback after the meeting or after some exercise or whatever, do that, check it, and then you have, let's say, material to discuss with the people one-on-one why someone evaluated like it is. And what could be? That was three, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
That's enough. That's enough.
So
yeah, you haven't mentioned the delegation pokers you tried. So yeah, one of my favorites. Yeah.
I was just going to say, so I can see somebody said, Nirvana has said, and I hope that's the correct way to pronounce her name. So delegation poker, yeah. So that is cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
So
we've got 5 to 7 minutes. I think basically 5. Should we try and do 3 more minutes and then wrap it up in 2?
Yeah, let's go. If any questions, you can also post it. We are open to answer them. Yeah.
So any questions, people just keep posting. So yeah, maybe let's just move on. Did we have anything else to share with people?
Yeah. It's next slide. It's actually about management 3.0 workshops, because at the end, once you have, if you want to feel real experience about management 3.0 before you start practicing, usually you go to this management 3.0 workshops, which all of us went, me and Sarika as well, several of them. And then you have opportunity to have actionable advices, go through these practical tools, depending on the workshop, which tool will be selected, and these engaging games. And then those are, let's say, in most cases, we are doing online workshop, but there are also a possibility to organize, let's say, in company workshop or some on-site workshops. But those workshops are really, let's say, hands-on. Yeah. So you do a little bit of theory, then practice. Yeah. Little bit of theory, then practice. And knowledge you get on them, you can immediately start to practice and implement in your real real life and so on. And what is really important that whatever issue you're encountering, you probably have some tool that you can start using, or at least get advice how you can use it. And yeah, those workshops are all about this. Something to add, Sarika?
No, I think you've covered it, and you can see a beautiful visual in Miro that, that's how active and engaged a workshop looks, because people are actually really active in this workshop. It's not a one-sided workshop. We don't do one-sided workshops. They've been designed for interaction and engagement, and your active participation is key. So I think it's just 1 minute. We are like literally on the time. So maybe just you and I wrap it up. Do you want to start the wrap up, and then I can just, yeah.
Yeah. So at the end, as we said, Management 3.0 is all about action, and we are here all believe that if we do not have proper tools and practices to change things, it will be really hard to move from the first spot. Yeah, this first inertia you need to do, it's really hard. And if you do not have appropriate tool set and appropriate mindset at the end, which is coming after, in some cases, then you'll be probably stuck. So this is really revealing and opening a lot of opportunities to people who want to, let's say, deep dive and get, let's say, actionable knowledge, I would say. Yeah.
Perfect. That's going to be tough to add to. So I'm thinking maybe I'll sum it up with this quote that we have in the Management 3.0 context. So the job of management is really not to find or select the best ideas, but it is to set the environment, create the environment so that we can allow those ideas to emerge. And I think that's the holistic view of manage the system and not the people. So maybe with that, we'll call it a wrap for today. But we would love to keep coming back with more such LinkedIn Live workshops. If you think there are more pressing issues that you'd like us to talk about from a Management 3.0 or any other context from a management and leadership and change context, because Stefan and I both work in that space very frequently, day to day mostly. And yeah, we'd love to then create another LinkedIn Live session. But any additional questions, feel free to put them down there in the comments. We would love to respond to everything. And of course, connect directly with us. We're always happy to do that. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Stefan.
Thank you, and thank you, Sarika.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.